Alright, doing a YouTube video as a new year for my channel. This is going to be an introductory video and stating what my goals are for the next year. And possibly longer, of course, for my YouTube channel. My goal is to try to do at least one video every 2 weeks. What that video will be on, subject-wise or whatever, have no idea. I want to do either a Let's Play or a gaming aspect type video, reviews, gaming rants about games in general, and new games that I'm playing, and old games that I'm playing. Possibly do Let's Plays, or showing off stuff that I'm doing in certain other games, like the Planet Coaster games. Showing off that stuff, showing off playing through different aspects of other games, showing off builds, or just showing off Minecraft that I play with my nephew once in a while, and then I get hooked and I play all by myself, and yeah. Doing all that, Minecraft should really be called Minecraft. Because I swear every time my nephew wants to play it, we play it for a couple hours, and I get hooked, and then I end up playing for a couple, like 2-3 weeks straight, doing nothing but playing that game, and it frustrates the hell out of me at times. But it's addicting. But okay, that's one goal, is doing those kind of things, doing Let's Plays and gaming rants and all that. And then talking about my other interests, which range from doing my writing, where I write my stories, whether they're science fiction stories or fantasy stories or historical mysteries and the like. I write them for myself more than anything else, but yes, I do would eventually like to get them published. Will I? Probably not, being honest here. But maybe I can just tell them, because that's really what I'm good at. I love telling my stories more than actually writing them. I get really passionate about it. So that's another thing that I might be doing. Doing my how-to videos on how to make wine. Showing me making my wine. And I'm getting into making mead, which I'm hoping to post that video from start to finish product within the next month and a half. And doing videos on my permaculture / food forest, backyard work that's being done, and showing the progress of that, where I could end up getting into doing essential oils, because I'm going to be growing a lot of herbs, and doing essential oils would be kind of interesting. I already make my own candles, so I might be doing something on that. And then, while I'd be always trying to keep this aspect out of all my other videos, it probably will leak in at times. My politics. To be clear, I am a old-fashioned Democrat. You know, the original Democrats from the 1930s and 40s on econ policy. I'm a Bernie Sanders bro, pretty much all the way. I think Elizabeth Warren's great. I'm a progressive. I really do think that generally speaking, if we focus on econ policies that are the progressive econ policies, and we can fix a lot of the other social issues to a drastic degree. Now, not totally fix. They will still need to be addressed, obviously. But we can make that fight a lot easier. Because, first and foremost, it is about class more than race and everything else. Yes, the different races, especially blacks, are treated much worse than a white. And definitely need to address that issue. But if we fix a lot of the class issues, where so that people can't go, oh, well, these guys are taking it away from you because they're DEI, or whatever. I'm all for those kind of programs. I really am. I think diversity projects are really important. But I also know they can go too far at times. And I really do feel that, if we go, hey, let's make these programs universal so they can't be used against different races and different religious beliefs and so forth and so on, because it's just not right. We make as many of the programs universal, which will disproportionately help those that have been disproportionately affected by the class inequalities, which have been people of color, primarily blacks, people of different religious beliefs outside of Christianity, and different sexuality and sex makeups, part of the LGBTQ plus community, and so on and so forth. And we need to address all those issues, obviously. But let's get the parts that we can actually win first. Make that progress. So I'm what I like to call a Marxist, socialist, bird in the sky, great bird in the sky, Plato, utopia, political ideology. I look forward to a time when we will not be a capitalistic society. We will be primarily a socialist society where everybody is getting the same opportunities that they need to get in order to thrive, and that their general welfare is taken care of. They don't need to worry about where their next meal is coming from. They don't need to worry about where their shelter is. Now, the quality of that shelter and so forth and so on might be totally different based on, different things. If somebody's only doing the kind of work that they need to do, that doesn't want those expensive stuff, that I don't even know how to say this, because I think that most luxuries are not necessarily luxuries. I think everybody should be able to get to those things. But yes, there's certain ones that you need to work for. But I think that they need to be actually worked for, not just being able to go, oh, my parents made this much money, and I'm just going to go and get what I want. Because my parents made it. And I haven't had to do a damn thing. I don't think that's right. I think innovation is very important. I think being willing to put in the physical and or mental work is very important. And as someone who can't really do the physical work, I think mental work is, in many ways, even more important. Not dismissing physical labor at all. Physical labor should be getting all the great things in life, too. They both should. I don't even know where I'm going anymore. I totally lost track of my thoughts. That has to do with my ADHD. Which is another thing I'll probably be doing on here. But this is basic, like I said, this is just basic introduction to myself on what my channel is going to be like. With it being a new year, and I just started the channel last year, and I only did a couple videos. I'm hoping to keep on expanding that and actually do more. I'm hoping to do it on a regular basis, which, who knows if I will or not, but that's my goal. And now a little bit about myself. I am an over 50-year-old who is definitely left-leaning. Some people would actually say I'm far left. I am in my beliefs and the actual stuff I want done, but I'm center-left in the sense that what I know can be done. So, yeah, there's that. I have a lot of physical ailments, and those physical ailments I've had for pretty much my whole life. They range from fibromyalgia, different forms of arthritis, bronchial asthma, high blood pressure, etc., etc., etc. I also have ADHD, and I only recently was diagnosed, only within the last few years, which I think is awesome that I'm ADHD and I finally got diagnosed. But I also know that the reason why I wasn't diagnosed with it was because of sexism. As I said, I'm a 50-plus-year-old. I was in the school systems in the 70s and 80s for the most part. I graduated in 92. And back then, females did not get diagnosed with ADHD. They just didn't. We were called lazy, daydreamers, and if we got diagnosed with any kind of learning disability, it was just usually a general learning disability. It wasn't like something that was very specific. Boys tended to get the very specific diagnosis. Girls tended to get the generalized ones. Now, that could be in part because the way that girls tended to show the symptoms of them was slightly different than the way that boys did in most cases. Not in all cases. I was one of those ones that showed it in a lot of ways in the same way boys did, where I wasn't necessarily a class clown, but I was hyperactive when it came to being during the time periods that we were allowed to be active. I mean, I was quiet during classes, but when we were allowed to be active, I was hyperactive. I was one of those kids that would bounce off the walls in gym class. And I wasn't good in gym class. Far from it. I mean, with my arthritis and my asthma, I just wasn't that good. But I'd bounce off the walls. I was one of those kids that during the class that we would be outside in, I would be looking all over the place. And yeah, I would actually be one of those ones that would go squirrel. I mean, that's a trope, but my attention would be pulled away from where it was needed to be. And yeah, I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD. I was diagnosed as a slow learner. And because of my lazy eyes, uh, and because of the lazy eyes, I had bad hand-eye coordination, and so I was put into computer classes, and I learned how to do a computer build, not only how to use a computer well before anyone else in my grade were being taught. I mean, generally speaking, I went to a really good public school, one of the best in not only in the state but in the country. And even then, kids weren't getting put on computers until like sixth or seventh grade. I was put on a computer in second grade. I gave up recesses. I believe it was 2 recesses a week I had to give up to go to the library where they had a couple computers, and it was primarily for teachers' use. It wasn't really for the students. It was for the teachers' use, the librarians' use, and the aides. It really wasn't for the students. And I had to learn how to type, and they taught me how to use a computer, not just to type, but to also program and I even made my own game. It was a very simple, it wasn't even basic language. It was even older than basic language. And, you know, but I was taught that, and that got me into tech big time. I mean, I love technology, but, I also love history and Middle Ages and fantasy, so forth and so on. I mean, my interests span everything, practically. As you'll see if I actually do this YouTube channel the way I want. So, there we go.